I love you guys.
Dance off, bro. I have the high ground.
Expecto Patronum!
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor. Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. We are here to crap on a movie because we're here for Pirates of the Caribbean 4 on Stranger Tides. So Kevin, Sarah, Cam, and I are going to talk about this. On Stranger Tides, had a 33% critic score, a 50% audience, so neither one liked it, and it somehow made 1.46 billion at the box office. So maybe that was because of the success of the trilogy, or I don't know. But yeah, let's go to impressions. What did you guys think?
Guys, no. See, like the thing is that like this was too much, because this is clearly just a prank. Whatever you guys spent to get Penelope Cruz and Johnny Depp to make this fake movie, and whatever you spent to hack into my Disney Plus to put it in my menu to try to convince me that this was a real movie that happened, it was way too much. You guys went over the top, right? Because there's no way that this was a movie that made over $1 billion. Like so whatever you guys did, it was too much. It was too much. Like you don't have to go that far. And I know Sarah hates me, and that's fine. But like, you don't have to spend this much money on your hatred.
If I had the money, the things I would do to ruin your life, just to bother you, just
Pirate
like
6.
parachuters into your backyard with like paintballs, like, just so much shit.
Like, listen, on the highlight of this review for me is the gift from Matt that's sitting on my shelf here. Like, this movie is so bad.
Yeah.
And like this is the trajectory. They make the original trilogy, right? And then like it's a few years later, Disney doesn't know what to do. They need something that's not like a superhero movie. So they're like, what if we go back to Pirates? And so they make another Pirates movie. And everybody's like, oh, I remember those movies. I like those movies. Oh, the critics don't like it? That's okay. Like the critics didn't like the last ones either. So everyone goes not believing it could be this bad and having to see it for themselves. But it is that bad. And then when they come out with Pirates 5, which completely tanks, it's because this movie was like horrible.
Yeah.
But we have to agree, though, this one is better than the next one.
I
haven't seen the next one either, so I'm gonna be surprised about how bad that one is too.
They're both bad. I will say I feel like I laughed at one part in this entire movie. I feel like I liked the humor a little bit more in the fifth one, not enough to save it, but at least I laughed more. And then in this one, the only time I laughed is when they throw the Jack Sparrow voodoo doll off the cliff and he screams. Like, that's the one part I laughed at this entire movie. So
I have so many problems with this movie. I'm sure we'll get into all of them. I have so many problems with it.
It was so boring. But Cam, your thoughts?
You see,
don't even lie. Don't you even start.
You see, how could anybody not like the triumphant return of Jack Sparrow to the silver screen? Like, you really can't get much better than mermaids, Blackbeard, Triton, little ships and bottles. You get to see Jack Sparrow in so many different like situations that he shouldn't be in. Like these entire scenes where like he stands out so much because he's still dressed like a pirate in like more modern times. They did poop on my boy Barbosa. What a cool character, kind of wasted. Like, don't bring him back if you're gonna do that to him, kind of thing. I had a good time. Great mermaids,
You didn't have a good time. I don't know why you have to lie to us. We are your friends, Cameron. I don't know why you have to lie to us. Just admit that you completely invented this movie and snuck it onto my Disney Plus and invented the Wikipedia page for it, because
if I was the director of Pirates of the Caribbean on
Stranger
Tides, I'd be proud of this.
What? I mean, I guess sure, be proud that it made over $1 billion somehow, but
Listen, this movie is so bad that if we weren't recording a podcast, I would deny having ever watched it.
It's really not that bad.
yes, it is.
In comparison to the first three. Like, of course they spoiled us. And yes, they should have brought back more like returning cast. But
Cameron, I don't even like the original trilogy. Like, I like the first movie. The second movie is watchable.
So
the third movie is a disaster. This movie makes the third movie look like an Academy Award-winning masterpiece. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
You've never
listen. Our resident pirate. Our resident pirate. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, Sarah, go for it.
Oh God. Well, it really. I think I'm really like in the middle because there are so many things I don't like about this movie. So many things. It's so rushed. There's not enough story, but like there are things about it that I do like because they did try to. When you think of this trilogy, there's so many things they've already done. The upside down boat, like just so many magic things, like the Davy Jones locker. Like, where can you go from this? And like, sometimes, it just doesn't work. But there were aspects of this movie that I do think worked, like the whole Blackbeard. Like we've already seen, like, Davy Jones. We've seen Barbossa having kind of like his own special thing and like his crew and all that. And then you see Blackbeard and he has this special thing and the ships in the bottle is his own little power. I like that aspect. Do I necessarily like the rest with the daughter and all that and how, big she is? Like, no, but like, there are certain things in this movie that I do enjoy. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm just in the middle. I love so much, but I hate so much of it too. So
I can forgive you for liking some of it because you also hate some of it. So that's okay.
And I just hate Kevin. So to clear that up. But I'm not sure if this will come out tomorrow or not, but I do want to say happy Mother's Day out there to everyone. So mine's dead, but still everybody else
you are one. You are one.
Yeah, you're a mother. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh yeah. Thanks, guys.
Happy
I
Mother's
forget that. Usually I would just tell my dad Happy Mother's Day. So like it's all fucked up for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Mother's Day to all the moms.
Yeah, for sure. Happy Mother's Day from the Tribe of Nerds.
Yeah, except Kevin's mom, because like seriously, look what I have to deal with.
You should be giving my mom extra Happy Mother's Day because she's had to deal with me her entire life.
You know what? That's true. I should
not her entire life.
My entire life. She's had to deal with me my entire life.
I do. Props to Kevin's mom, because like I don't know how you do it. I can see why you made him move far, far away.
All right, well, let's get back into the movie. So let's break it down. So the movie starts and Gibbs is going to get executed for piracy, and Jack poses as the judge and saves and saves Gibbs from execution. And you also they get tricked, or the guy that they paid to get them out of it gets paid off by the British, and they get taken to King George, who was played by Richard Griffiths, who was Uncle Vernon in Harry Potter. So
he did he's a great actor, because like just the gluttony that exuded from that character, I was just like, I fucking want to bathe him so bad. I just want to give him a bath so bad.
Brushes his teeth.
The king, I will forgive for being an incompetent like antagonist to Jack, right? Like I can forgive the king because he's the king and he's out of touch. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just fat and overpaid and he's used to not having to do anything. That's fine. The rest of the British, they all sucked. Like Beckett was a competent like foil, right? Like he could do things. He
strategically inclined.
But like he also like he hung children, right? Like he was evil. These people are like lost idiots chasing their tails. Like I'm fine with the idea that like they have mistaken his identity, right? And so they have Gibbs instead of Jack. That's fine. That's funny. But like, it's only played for laughs. Like, you're telling me that you think that this pirate that you've been chasing for years, for a decade, you've been chasing this pirate, and you think you've got it. Like, you're not going to do any sort of like any investigation to make sure that's the correct one, right? Like you think that he is among you, like trying to recruit a new pirate crew, and you're not going to do anything to make sure you got the right guy. Like, it's not that I don't think that they would absolutely just like arrest the wrong person and execute him and be like, oh, whoops, wrong guy, right? Like, sure, the British would absolutely do that, but like, you didn't check to make sure you were like taking care of the threat that you thought you were taking care of.
Right.
Incompetent all around.
Yeah.
We should get Michael on here and see if the British government has changed at all.
Probably not.
I know we've talked about the best opening scenes before.
If you even
no,
Cameron?
no,
we're not
Cameron?
going to do that today.
this was terrible.
Okay, thank God. I almost just choked.
I do love me some Gibbs. I'll be honest, and I liked seeing Jack in like a different setting in a way, but also it was like your other openings were so iconic. You know, this one I won't remember next week how this movie opened, whereas I never forget the other ones.
And can I
Except
just be
for
like,
when you did forget it last week.
That's because the next scene was so good in comparison to like the trauma of those first like 60 seconds. You know?
can I also just
sure.
can I be?
It was also a 2.5 hour movie. Like, I forgot by the end. It was like so much had happened.
I'm gonna be the obnoxious blue-haired liberal that Fox News warned you about. It also really bothers me that we have Pirates of the Caribbean, right? The Caribbean is a pretty ethnically diverse place. Pirates of the Caribbean, they go to England, where a bunch of white guys in powdered wigs are like discussing things. Like, you could have had this trial in the Caribbean. You could have had it in a Caribbean court set up by European settlers and like had other characters in it. Like, I like
What they could have done is they could have had a court. Like, this is all about pirates in the sea. Why not have like a ship sea court? You know what I mean?
Like,
That was
you could have
cool.
you could have had like the last movie. One of the things that I thought that they did right was like diversifying the world of Pirates of the Caribbean, and this I felt like undid that, like shrank it back down. Like, actually, no, the important people are all the white people from England. That's who's important to the Caribbean. It's like, but it
Could be summed up from like Jack's quote from the last movie, like, the world's just the same, there's just less in it.
Right. So like, I also just like didn't like that. I didn't like going to England when like you could go anywhere, right? Like, I didn't like that.
Yeah. So then we also have Barbossa coming in with the peg leg. Like, we can discuss Barbossa's new look that I don't like. I'm not a fan of it. I just think it completely shatters the character that we've come to know.
Get out. Get out.
Yeah, it was just something to like, hey, he's back. We did a thing. Look, he's kind of different, but he's still the same guy. But hey, sorry, he doesn't have all his people or the ship or nothing. But he has a new leg, you know?
It would have been more effective had he been like a prisoner of the British and missing the leg, and then like he gets the peg leg and joins Jack's crew again as like a withered soldier.
Right,
but like, I don't see Barbossa jumping to the side of the British and ever doing that. Like, he is Jack, but like a more serious version. He would never.
He also cut off his
Jack
own
would go
leg.
work for the government and like make deals with shit, you know, but like Barbossa, come on.
He also cut off his own leg in this movie because he felt ashamed of the Pearl sinking. So like,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is
Ridiculous.
weird because now this is twice that motherfucker's evaded death. He should have went down with the ship the first time.
Yep.
But like if the ship is lost, like because the thing is the ship is not really lost, as we find out later. But if the ship is lost, like, you lost it in the battle, like whatever. So here's okay. When he puts the peg leg up to show that he has the peg leg, which is completely unnecessary, by the way, but when he lifts it up, it is one of the worst like special effects in this entire series. Like, you can clearly see his regular leg still there. Terrible. But like, I was telling Jake earlier when it was just he and I when we first logged in, The thing that bothers me about Barbossa is that we know as the audience, he is not reformed. He has not actually joined the British Navy. He is not actually trying to turn his life around and become like, we know he is always going to be the pirate.
Yeah.
Right. So like, there was nothing throughout the movie to be like that little wink, wink, nod, nod to the audience that like, he's actually just doing this to like get the thing that he wants so we can go back to being a pirate, which is what we know he's doing, but like they never give us any of that. And then at the end, he just does. Like, it's just bad writing. So that's my biggest issue with Barbossa. Like,
especially for a character that we have literally grown with for 4 movies now. Like, where is this coming from?
Yes, he's one of what, three actors who are in every movie. It's like Jack, Gibbs, and Barbossa. Like,
yeah,
and you mishandle him. Like, what? Get your life together.
I don't understand it.
But like, it's such an easy fix. It's just like, have him say or do something like a little bit along the way, just like just to like let the audience know the thing that we're all in on, that he is not reformed.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it just
Sorry, I'm
for me.
disciplining my children, Cameron. You saw the look. I was disciplining my kids.
I listen. I teach. I knew that look when I saw it. You're fine.
I saw that side eye and I was just like, Sarah's never looked at me like that.
Sarah's kids just like touched something glass they weren't supposed to or something. Like
the
they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be in bed
in the living room, so she tried to cross the threshold with it, and I was just like,
I was so close.
Don't.
She thought because you were on the phone that you were busy, you wouldn't notice.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that's why she was looking right at me.
Yeah. So then after this, then we get Jack escaping, and the British still have Gibbs, and Gibbs has the map, but he burns the map saying he's memorized it, so they just still have Gibbs.
Smart though, pirate,
Smart.
like smart.
Okay.
Gotta give it up for Gibbs, man. Like, he's been a great reoccurring character throughout these movies, and he's kind of in some ways just kind of been there, but he's always given us some sort of comical relief, some sort of push in the storyline, or he's an intelligent guy, and I love him as a character. Was glad to see him back.
So
you know what is funny is he doesn't have an accent like he doesn't talk the way he does in the movie. So like watching the DVD bonus films, hearing the actual way he speaks, it's like, whoa, that's not Master Gibbs. Like, it's
really
funny. Yeah. Yeah. I'll send you guys a clip or something.
So my complaint about Gibbs would just be that
Careful.
No.
Talk bad about my boy Gibbs.
No, it's the writing on him. So like the thing is that like I would have liked if they did something with that to where like either he was this like navigational genius now because he memorized this very complicated map, which he did not appear to be, or he was just lying to like keep himself alive as a pirate would do, right? And he didn't actually memorize the maps, and so he was like getting them lost sometimes, right? Like, which they also didn't really do because they just got to the island with the mermaids. So like they should have gone one of those two ways, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, again, this is not a Gibbs problem. This is a writing problem, Cameron. So calm it down. Back up a little bit. I don't need to see. Yeah, I don't need to see like the veins in your eye. It's fine. But yeah, I wish they'd done something with it instead of it just being like, I memorized them. Okay.
They did completely underutilize my boy in this movie. It's a shame. Being a recurring character that even though they messed up Barbossa, they didn't give the screen time to Gibbs. Like, if you're going to give him the call to come back, give him a bigger role.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could either make him the comic relief again because he actually didn't memorize the maps and he's getting them lost. Haha. Or you can make him like an integral part of the story because he's now the only one who knows where to go. And like make him important. Instead, it's just like that one scene of like, oh, well, now you need me. Like, that was smart. End of character development.
Yeah, I get that. All right, so then we get Keith Richards returning for a cameo as Captain Teague, and then We get the introduction of Angelica, Penelope Cruz's character, who I very much dislike in this movie. I just think she kind of spoke in the same tone the entire movie, and it just did not work for me. I didn't care about her character really at all, but she brings Jack to Blackbeard, so we'll get to Blackbeard in a second. But let's talk about Penelope Cruz as Angelica.
You don't need to have a character like Angelica when you already have mermaids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But seeing her with a mustache did awaken things.
What?
That is the strangest thing you've ever said, Cam, and I love
know.
it.
But yeah, no, her character fell flat in every way. I feel like given a different script, her character could have been impactful and played right. Like, I don't think the actress is at fault for it, but her performance was flat and forgettable.
Right.
And it's kind of like, you don't want to have, like, even Blackbeard's not great, but this is just awful. Why even include her?
I was sitting there watching, and I was like, is Penelope Cruz a bad actress?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, honestly.
Like, have I been fooled for the past 4 decades? Like, what? Like, what? Is she a bad actress? Like, it's not good. It's not good. It's not a good performance. It's not a good character. Like her in the very beginning when she's like, you know, she's the Jack. Like, I know as I'm watching it now in 2024, I know that's who it must be because like I'm waiting for her to appear. It was a little odd that she is noticeably shorter than Jack when they're actually face to face, but like when they're on like opposite rafters, like fighting each other with swords across the gap, they're the same height. A little strange, but okay, I'll allow it. But yeah, not performed well. And I also, is she Blackbeard's really? Is she really his daughter? Like, I still don't even know.
I was confused about that too.
Like, is she scheming?
We just
him?
have to accept that they consider each other father and daughter.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
I want that picture.
make that the thumbnail. Like, I
hope. Yeah, I'll try to make that the thumbnail.
You did me dirty last week, but it's fine.
I just like that's like that is a fault of the writing. Like the character should be developed to a point to where we know, is this person scheming and they're not really his daughter, but they've like successfully convinced him because they're that good of a liar, or is this really his daughter and like she really is this character, like she really is this person, and like they don't establish either. It's just up to you to decide. Well, I decided I don't like it.
Kevin.
Oh, yeah, it was just bad. Let's move on to let's talk about Blackbeard. Ian McShane, who is Winston in the John Wick series, who is great. Ian McShane's a fantastic actor, and it's freaking Blackbeard. But it must have been the writing because Ian McShane's a fantastic actor, so I just don't really know what was going on, but they just
There's
a
lot of other problems with the writing, so yeah, it makes sense if this is also a writing problem.
Yeah.
If you had told me Ian McShane plays Blackbeard in like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie before I watched any of the series, I would have been like, that's going to be awesome. And then you watch it and you're like, how was that not awesome? That did not rock.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have a different like view on it. I think with Blackbeard, Blackbeard like is a real person, like how Barbossa is based off like Barbarossa, and like Blackbeard is very clearly Blackbeard. Like you can only do so much with it without it being like too much. You know, like with Davy Jones, they gave him the tentacle face, but they stuck very close to like his story. I think with like, but also with Blackbeard, like he's like the villain of the movie, but like he says it himself, he's just a bad man, you know, so he's not out to ruin everybody's fucking life, he's just out to make his better, so he's just a bad guy. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find him engaging. Like I just didn't like, I didn't think that I didn't think the ship was particularly well realized. But then like they attempt this mutiny and he just like uses his magic ropes to like tie everybody up, but like doesn't do anything. But like somebody who's that bad of a guy should be making an example out of somebody. But like he never does. And like I understand it's a Disney movie, but like listen, they hung children in the last one. So like
we learned the pirates don't pull their punches. And like
and then
now all of a sudden there's a censor.
Davy Jones is executed.
But I guess hold on. He did put somebody on a rowboat and then he fire blasted the rowboat.
Yeah, he did fire blast the rowboat, but
that's also stupid because they went to the Prometheus school of running away from things and they just went in a straight line when you know what's going to happen. Like, and you're in the water, you could jump out of the boat.
Yeah, but I think it seemed like in the rowboat, did it kind of seem like that was what they do? Like I feel like the other crew members like almost knew that was going to happen. So maybe that's just the way how they punish them. You know what I mean? Like
right, like that was
they tried to come up with something different than just like mass slaughter. You know? Because I mean, we've seen it, done it.
Like so, okay, we can make this whole scene better, right? We can script doctor this pretty easily. So like instead of just like going with the magic ropes and tying everybody up, right? Like let somebody chop off a rowboat, like chop off a lifeboat, jump overboard, get in that, and start to row away. And he comes out and is just like slams the button, and they get fire blasted. Like, no, you can't mutiny me, and you can't get away if you try. Like, like you know, like you could make it
been that better,
more menacing and more like he's the bad guy, and instead they made it like cool ropes fly around and catch people.
Yeah, was not a fan of like
the ropes. The missionary tied up over there.
Right. It didn't work. It was just a Blackbeard just does not work at all in this movie for me.
Jake's gonna have an aneurysm. He's just like, I don't fucking like it.
I tried to bring up the missionary for Cam though.
Oh, Finnick O'Dare. I already forget. I don't know the actor's name.
So let's talk about what were you saying, Sarah?
Oh, nothing. Just catching on Kevin's dumbass jokes that I always get every single time.
Yeah, so as Cameron said, Fennec, or and the character's name is Philip. He is a missionary. His arc is that he abandons his religion to fall in love with a mermaid. And we'll get to the mermaid.
Finnick is the missionary?
That's the dream.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, from Hunger Games, yeah.
Oh my God, I was watching the whole movie like, God, he's got to be in the background somewhere here. I didn't realize it was him.
Well, I didn't realize Judi Dench was the lady in the carriage until Kevin's like, "Oh, Judi Dench." I'm surprised.
Yeah, I stole the line. I stole the line from Cinema Sins. And they dragged poor Judi Dench into this.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait, Judi Dench was in this, and like, oh, she was that small.
You can't watch the Cinema Sins before this because now you've already tainted it. It'll make
no. I haven't watched the Cinema Sins on this. I just watched enough Cinema Sins to know that's a line that they use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have another general problem with this movie, and the general problem that I have with it is like they're weird, like the weird thing they have with religion, right? Like I don't come to a Pirates movie to be preached about the like what's wrong with religion, like right. So like this is supposed to be a character that we like, and like their arc is to like abandon like his missionary life to go like live with the mermaid ?
Mm-hmm.
They just go underwater, and I never seen him come up again. So, like,
absolutely, yeah, he totally turns into a merman.
So like there's that.
You guys have seen the 13th year, right? Like,
and then shut up. And then the other one. So then spoiler alert for the ending. The Spanish are like strict devout Catholics who destroy the Fountain of Youth, which also just like doesn't make sense because I don't care how religious you are. One of the world's superpowers at the time, if they have the Fountain of Youth, they're going to go for it. But like the whole thing is just like kind of like, listen, I don't go to church. I haven't been to church in many years. I went to 13 years of Catholic school and I'm way over that. Mm-hmm. Like I am not defending religion, but I don't come to a Pirates movie to be preached to about like the horrors of religion. So like we can just leave that out. We can just leave that out.
Right. And Jake, you are 100% going to have to cut this joke. So you are going to have to cut this, but just to make the religious joke, the Catholics would be the last person to defeat the Fountain of Youth. You know what I'm saying?
Kevin, you want me to really delete that? Because that was a great.
Well, you can
I
just
mean,
cut
you
that
can
part
leave
out
it in.
and
If
then
you
just
think
get
it's
right
that,
to
I mean,
Kevin.
I don't care. Whatever. Like Kevin said, I went to Catholic school for like 10 years, so I'm right there with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want that little clip of just Kevin running back and forth like Scooby Doo.
Kevin, when he votes out Cameron, be pre-merge.
Yeah, I hate when I do that. I hate you guys.
Oh, oh,
All right.
okay.
The only thing that's worse though, that makes this worse, is that I'm like, Jake, you have to cut this, and then people
No,
are gonna hear
no.
how fucked up my sense of humor actually is. Oops, pirate.
But it's funny though.
It's
It's
real good.
okay.
It was real good. It's
That's the
quality
darkest
content.
thing about that movie or podcast is going to be. That's as dark as we gonna go.
That's it.
That was real good.
The
Anyways,
mermaids are cool, yeah.
All
But
right.
also, I kind of low key
Philip.
didn't like that they called them mermaids because, like, even back then, like, I think it would be a known thing in lore. Like, I feel like at least it should have been mentioned. Like, we had the whole Kraken debate, you know, but like, I feel like the word siren should have
I was
come
gonna-
up
yeah.
because, like, we all know what the fuck that means. I feel like even back then, like, I mean, how many shows have we seen? Sirens are mythological things that have been around forever. So, like, I feel like at least, like, I know they weren't in here, but like, Pinto and Rossetti, they could, you know, I would have loved to seen a fucking siren mermaid debate between those two. That would have been perfect, you know?
Yes, I still don't know why they weren't in this movie, but anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It was bad writing.
yeah. So the mermaid attack happens. I will say I did like the scene, but I agree that it should have been sirens. But I believe sirens, like in actual mythology, like they were actually very ugly creatures. Like, but their singing was so like alluring that it would make sailors.
I think they were just like I think they were like monstrous.
pretty.
So I think
Yeah, I think they were.
I think they were like
pretty
they are in this movie
mermaids
where they
up
kind
until
of
they went to like.
yeah,
I
they
think they
look
did it
pretty until
right.
they open their mouth and they have like a lizard tongue and sharp teeth.
Manatee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so these mermaids slash sirens, they end up you know, they kill at least one person, they make them all like abandon ship. And yeah, so I mean this is a good scene. One of the only good scenes in the movie in my opinion. But yeah, I mean any other thoughts on the mermaid attack?
It's fine.
I like the mermaids. That's it.
All
Who
right.
doesn't love
I like them.
mermaids?
It's something new. I mean, it's something new. I mean, I do like the aspect how they brought like, you know, we had to get the mermaid's tear. That's not really something I've kind of heard in like lore before. You know, I do like, I mean, spoiler for down the line, like how there was the whole contradiction of like happy tears versus tears of sorrow. Like I did like those little things of it. But as mermaids as a whole, like I did appreciate it because we've been doing movies about ships this entire time. We've covered krakens and everything else, but like mermaids is something that didn't cross my mind. And so I'm glad it was in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't dislike the mermaid scene, and I feel dirty saying I agree with Sarah, but like the idea that like they're so cold that like she didn't even cry when she was sad, but like she cried a happy tear. Right, like there's something there. I would have liked a little bit better if they had like a more well organized trap, because it seemed like they were just like sending some people out there to die and like hope for the best. So I would have liked a little bit more like strategery.
Yeah, but also
But,
like
like,
how
give it
many
to you.
people do have made it there to the Fountain Youth? It's not like, you know, like
I also
Barbosa Chart Man had a chart for this shit. You know what I mean?
I also
like,
didn't realize when that scene was happening that they were on the island for the fountain. Like I thought that they were just like stopping to get a mermaid and then they would be moving on to wherever the fountain was. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so
yeah, they
A
could have
little
made that more clear,
convenient to the
100%.
plot.
Yeah, it just happened to be
like at a certain point I was like, wait a minute, are we not leaving the island?
yeah, I don't know. Just many poor
Nope.
decisions. So Serena.
Desmond forgot to push the button. We're all stuck here now.
So Serena, the one mermaid, gets captured.
Which is the reference to Siren, by the way, because her name is Serena.
You're right,
Mm,
right. They
that's
did.
true.
But like
True.
that's weak because they should be sirens. But go on. Yes,
Right.
So Philip or Fennec falls in love with her, and then they have the whole jungle scene, and you end up with the voodoo doll being chucked over the cliff, the one funny scene, and you get Serena, the whole tank exploding, and you have the whole and getting her tear and whatnot. So I mean, any things from this whole like couple of scenes.
It's just
I
sloppy.
think that scene on the cliff, like, where Blackbeard like had threatened his daughter or whatever. Like, I think that was a good scene because it just kind of showed you what a bad man he is. That, I mean, again, like, he's willing to do anything to get his way. So, like, I think that was a good scene for him. But again, you guys can shit on it all you want.
I guess one of the downsides of the movie for me is like you don't spend a lot of time sailing the seas. You know what I mean? Like, why are we in the jungle right now? Like, I know we're going to the Fountain of Youth. It's just a lot of time that you could have,
Yeah, I feel like jungle,
like have the
Fountain of-
mermaid fight more in the middle of the water than on the island or something. So like make the jungle scene a little shorter. I don't know.
I feel like they could have, how they did that whole thing. I forget which one it was. How they were, the Brethren Court. How they had that beautiful like cave system. How they met inside. I feel like that's what the Fountain of Youth would have been inside. Is like a beautiful cave thing where you got to like get the mermaids and then pull into like a pretty thing, and then you'd get out to like sparkling like like quartz cave kind of thing. Like, I could totally envision something better.
Yeah, it was not at all how I would have envisioned the Fountain of Youth. But again, another bad thing about this movie, they didn't make it look.
So I remember. So I a little bit fell asleep during some of this part. Because it's not very good. It just seemed like there was a lot of like. I just remember there being a lot of like plot convenience, right? So like they just had to separate Jack from the rest of the crew, so they cut down the bridge and threw him over the cliff. But like, that doesn't actually make any sense. Like, this is your life goal is to find this thing, and you're gonna leave it in the hands of that guy who you barely know and you don't trust, and you're gonna throw him over a cliff to make it happen. Like, it just.
I think they relied a lot on, like, with Will and Elizabeth not being in this one, like a lot of Jack Sparrow's wittiness and stuff, like just to kind of shine through. Like, but they didn't let him be like, well, I'm Captain Jack Sparrow, like let him own it like that.
I didn't find a lot of his wittiness even funny though in this one. Like I just
Yeah.
there was a lot missing from what makes Jack Sparrow Jack Sparrow.
Right. So like, again, let's script doctor this a little bit. Let's get Will back for just a cameo for a minute.
Cameo.
Right?
That's
just
all we need.
So instead of the Chalices having to be in this box in a ship that's teetering on a cliff. So every time you move, which also just like there was actually no stakes in that because they should have just fallen over so many times, but they didn't. Ridiculous. Anyway, instead of that whole scene, which was just silly and stupid, like they get the mermaid, they're back on the boat. They go meet Will, who's the new Davy Jones. Davy Jones takes Jack to like the ship that has sunk because he has the ability to do that because he's Davy Jones. And so he takes them down. And then like down there underwater is where Jack gets the chalices, right? Like something like that, like bring Will back for just a little like 5-minute scene, right? And like spend more time at sea. Spend more time at sea. Like it's not just dependent on like throwing Jack over a cliff for no reason, right? Like this is very simple to do.
Get rid of Blackbeard's daughter completely and make the person who was faking to be Jack Sparrow Keira Knightley just for a cameo scene because she misses like being a pirate a little bit, so she's like, oh, and then when Jack shows up she's like, you're right, this isn't like what I want, I just need to go back to my little island, whatever. You kind of
Yeah,
get them
you-
both for a scene.
Love that.
And then
'Cause, yeah,
Blackbeard can be cooler because you don't have to have his daughter around, kind of thing. And he could be just more villainous because Blackbeard's a good villain, but like this Blackbeard and daughter situation makes all of it bad.
And like, listen, you wanna have a woman in the cast, right? Because like, if you did that, then it's all men and just Keira Knightley for a minute. Then like, make Blackbeard actually turn out to be a woman. Like, do something. Like, literally do something else. Do something else. Add women to the crew. Add women crewmates. Like, do something. Like, just like pointlessly making Penelope Cruz.
yeah, we don't need a whole new just lead female just cause. Yeah, 100%.
And then I mean, and the only reason she's really there is because then at the end it is for the two chalices because you get the life. We'll get to there, but like just a lot. It's just like a lot of like sloppy plot convenience.
Yeah, I feel like they could have just had her, like, they could have had her come on as the daughter, do the whole lie thing, and then, like, when Jack figures out that, like, she actually lied to him by telling the truth, like, they should have found a way to kill her there, and then you could have brought, like, Elizabeth or Willen for, like, their little cameos to end out the movie, you know, kind of thing. You know, that, yeah. Agreed.
It just
Come
feels
on,
like
Cam.
the first three movies you had like actually so much going on and like so much story, and you kept teleporting from location to location while they're doing all these things. And then this one was a more linear, easy story to follow.
Yeah.
It was just terrible.
Yeah, but it just was made sloppy. So
yeah, it's such weak writing. Like,
I was watching it and I'm like, I need to go and defend this movie just a little bit. So I'm watching it and I had a pros and cons list.
and how did that go for you, Cameron?
His name is Miss Massacre, apparently.
Mermaids, Finnick.
But like
The Fountain of Youth is kind of
but like
cool.
it's the whole thing is like, okay, another like sloppy, just like plot convenient thing. So they have this like coffin, this glass coffin for the mermaid to be in. To carry it around full of water, which is obvious. Have you ever tried to carry a tank of water? It's ridiculously heavy. Like, this is obviously not going to work. But then it turns out that when it breaks, she can just grow legs because now she's dry. Like, it's like nothing matters. Like, a thing happens and there's a reason for it, and then 2 scenes later, that thing doesn't matter anymore. Like,
It was to get Finnick to take his shirt off and carry around the hot mermaid.
okay, but like you can get him to do that without this like making it seem like the glass coffin is important. Yeah, like without like just skip that
For
entirely.
all the practical effects that they didn't do, why did you make the glass coffin?
For nothing. It's annoying. It's frustrating.
yeah, I all right. Well, I mean, let's get to more bad stuff. With the Fountain of Youth, and you have the whole thing of like Barbosa comes in and he stabs Blackbeard with the venomous sword. And of course, Angelica is going to be extremely dumb, which I still don't understand. She literally touches the venomous blade and poisons herself. And it just is so ridiculously stupid. And it's just.
Okay. She kept saying that she needed Jack because Jack knew how to get there. Jack's just blindly leading them through a cave, getting them lost. Yes?
Yeah.
And then suddenly water starts rising, and that's how they realize that they have come to the correct location. But Jack didn't actually know how they were getting there. So like, what was Jack's? That's sloppy. And then they get there by like jumping up through the ceiling.
Yeah, I remember.
And then they land in like a foggy cave. And then, because I woke up during part of this, so I'm a little like hazy on the details. So you're telling me that when the Spanish came and they went through the place where the water drips up, and they went through the hole in the ceiling that like reversed gravity, they were like, "This is all fine, but we got to go destroy that fountain." It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so the Spanish come and attack as well, and so they do that, and then they just leave.
Yeah, they just leave. They're like, "This is an abomination. Bye." And
When
then
I tell you, I don't know if you've ever seen Anchorman and Anchorman 2, but this genuinely felt like the scene where all of the other news channels pull up with like baseball bats. and like give their own little like thing. I was like sitting there watching this scene as the Spanish come out of like the smoke.
They
I'm
just
like,
come out of the fog.
is that Vince Vaughn? Like
If they were so devout that like a fountain of
the
youth is an
Spanish are
abomination,
still here. Like,
right? Like if
thanks
it
for
was such a,
introducing them.
if it was such a big deal that like this existed, that it can't exist, they wouldn't have gone through the hole in the ceiling that reverse gravity. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Kevin, you're
It's
supposed to
so-
forget about that part by now.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. That's the thing. That's 2 scenes ago, so that doesn't matter anymore. Ugh.
All right. Well, do we want to talk about
Yes, she's dumb. She's dumb because the sword has a handle. It has a handle. You don't need to put your hand on the blade. And he yells to you, it's poison, before you touch it. And then you touch it anyway, unnecessarily, and basically kill yourself.
You know what? That scene is as useless as, like, I'm gonna also jump franchises here, as the scene in Scream 3 where they open up the coffin and it's like dead Roman Bridger.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just didn't need to include that. You didn't need to include her touching the sword because you, like, it genuinely doesn't matter.
Right.
You know? Like, she could get stabbed any other way. You didn't have to make her be so dumb to grab the blade.
They need her to also be injured so that they can do the thing with the 2 cups, which is also necessary, but like that's the thing they need to happen. Literally, the Spanish came in and started breaking shit. Like, have her get hurt by something falling down, right? Like,
slice
and it
her
kind of
hand
contradicts
first,
what they
then
say in
stab
the beginning
Blackbeard.
of the movie, because like in the beginning when they had the whole Jack fight versus Jack, and then like when you learn more about her, like it kind of alludes to the fact that like she learned a lot of her like temptress or like skills from Jack. Like Jack's not going to be dumb enough to grab the blade of a sword, you know what I mean? So it kind of contradicts like that whole opening thing.
Even if it's not poisoned, why would you grab the blade?
why would you grab the blade?
She's
What
an idiot.
pirate would do that? Like, what the fuck?
Like the
She was dumb enough
director,
to go
the
out and grab that
cameraman, the
snake.
script writer. There are so many people that scene had to go through that didn't say, we should just change this.
Yeah.
Well, then she was like half fucking the snake in that like swamp scene, just grabbing it out of the fucking tree like a gummy bear. Like,
yeah.
you know?
I vaguely remember that. I think I was dozing off at that point.
Yeah, I remember grabbing the snake. Yeah.
I was asleep.
I don't know. I know that I don't know how they got the, like, last I checked, there were rocks in the chalice box. And then the next time that I saw them, they had the chalices. So I was like, don't know where those came from.
You were just like, what?
Oh, they got the chalices. That's good.
Yeah, like I'm not going back to figure out what happened. I don't care that much. Yeah, so that's dumb. I also like overall in general, I feel like this like special ceremony to make the fountain work is also super weak, right? Like you just need the 2 chalices and 1 mermaid tear. Like
No. You're also sacrificing a whole person.
right, but like
Well, that's like the least important part. I think like the mermaid tear is like harder to get. I'd fucking sacrifice.
No. The mermaids are literally right outside the island.
Right?
That's part of the plot point. They didn't have to go anywhere else. They just had to come to the Fountain of Youth and get a mermaid from in the middle of the sea, right? Like not they were standing on the shore. They didn't even have to go into the water. The
It's
mermaids
kind of
came
like,
to
you
them.
know, in Walmart when they used to have the lobsters in the tank in the store and you could just pick them right there. It's kind of like that. It's cheating.
Yeah.
right? Like again, like if it was they had to go somewhere to find the mermaids, then they had to go somewhere to find the chalices, and then they had to go somewhere to find the fountain. Like, right, they had to do all the thing. Like that would be an adventure movie, and instead it's like, all right, we're on the island.
Oh yeah, there's voodoo
Bye,
too.
Jack, go get the
by way.
chalices.
Yeah, we have the voodoo doll as well.
The fucking useless doll. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute.
That rolls up because I did wait for the post credit scene.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
But you slept the first 7 minutes through it. Like,
But it's just like you don't need more voodoo. Like you already had the whole voodoo calypso thing, right? Like you were moving on, but you just need tiny little remnants of it for no reason.
Being the blue-haired
British
liberal that Fox News warned you about, fucking colonizing. Where are the characters who actually practice the voodoo to do the voodoo? You gave it to some white British dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
right.
Anyway,
At least last time you had Calypso. Calypso was doing it. She was actually had a Caribbean accent. Now it's just some European just like going around and colonizing and stealing people's culture like they always do.
Yeah. Anyway,
I just want to learn from Kevin. I want a seat in your class.
I'm a very good teacher.
I bet.
Cam can pretend he's like a fifth grader.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Are you smarter
Billy
than a
Madison. It's Billy Madison.
You just see me like cheating off the person next to me. Wait, why'd you use blue there?
I have one who cheats all the time and insists he doesn't. And I'm like, I just watched you look at his paper, copy the exact thing, and it's the complete wrong answer. That only he is the other person. But I didn't cheat. Like, okay, but like, that's gonna be Kim.
I love it so much. I just love it.
Cam's gonna be like this and be like, Cameron, no cheating. He's gonna be like, I'm not.
That is how I got through grade 9 French. So
Oh my God, the truth comes out.
yeah, they had to move my friend Tyler Cloutier to the other side of the class because I cheated off him, and then she moved me right in front of her desk. And that didn't work because Alex Lawrence, who sat next to me, was the smartest girl in class, and she had better handwriting.
Jeez.
So whoever your teacher was, that you played yourself.
But
right,
damn,
well,
Madalena did not like me at all. She had to make me go sit in like the hallway sometimes in high school. I was like, get out of here.
This
All right,
one
well,
time,
Caitlin-
I was
Caitlin
in
is
fifth grade,
tests.
Yee.
and this kid named Michael Bindle, he farted really loud in the library during story time, and I still remember. People don't forget. Like, it was like
Okay.
30, 40 kids, and it was just like one of those, and like he just went red face, put his head down. Nobody laughed, but we all were thinking the same thing.
Wait, do you want to know the funniest teacher farting story?
Yes.
So one time I was walking, I had second grade that year. I was walking down the stairs, and on the last step, for some reason, like I didn't even feel like a fart, just like as I stepped on the last step. And the one kid at the back of the line heard it and immediately turned to me and was like, and I ignored him and pretended like nothing happened. So
I don't know.
All right. Well,
It was
we
my
wanna-
New Balance Skechers. That's what it
anyway,
was.
It's my new
report on
balance.
We went-
anything that happened.
we went on a tangent about farting, but it is probably more interesting than what actually happened in the movie.
Better than anything that happened in
A
the
more
movie.
coherent plot line, at least.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, then Angelica gets saved. Jack saves her. Blackbeard dies. She yells at Jack, even though he just saved her life. And then he maroons her on the island. And then Jack and Gibbs have the Black Pearl, and it's in a little jar. And so yeah.
See, I actually don't remember any of this because I turn off everything halfway through because I don't make it halfway through things. So could you just explain all of it again? I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Kevin.
Did we ever find out how Blackbeard gets the ships in the jars?
No.
It's a
I
magic.
don't remember. I think it's like, yeah, I
Duh.
think it's just like a thing that is like specific to him. Like,
Right, like it's just like it's just a thing because they thought it'd be cool, right? Like
Did
it
we
was
see how they
literally-
got the Black Pearl out of the
No, no,
no, didn't we see how
Why
he got
include
through,
it?
right? Because didn't
Well,
they have
no.
a
They
scene where
walked down
pick
the
up
beach.
the
They were
little
walking down the
bottle?
beach holding the bottle. Like
We're going to see what happens with the pearl and the bottle next movie.
Oh,
So
I have to wait a whole nother movie.
well, yeah, a whole nother week. That's just how it is.
watch this again.
Not again.
No, you just have to watch the fifth one and then you'll find out.
Here, Kevin, we can watch it together because
What do we want to do like a live watch through of Pirates 5?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna spend the whole time talking to you guys. I'm not gonna watch a goddamn
I was
thing.
gonna say Kevin is good. This is gonna be Kevin.
pause.
What is that? Who is
Pause
that?
it.
What is that?
Listen,
Who is
Sarah's
that?
gonna pause it and
What
be
is
like, "This is
that?
where Barbarossa in real life." And I'm just gonna be like, "This is the best one in the franchise."
Yeah, and then we're gonna laugh.
Jake's gonna be like, "It has a Rotten Tomato score of 11." And I'm like,
11.
I like all of Cameron's impressions. They were all perfect, spot on.
So
Thank
good.
you.
All right. So then that happens in the post-credit scene. The voodoo doll that Blackbeard had of Jack Sparrow washes up on the shore to Angelica. She smiles, and Penelope Cruz never comes back again. So this post-credit scene is useless.
She probably just died on the island.
Well, then don't show the scene.
They could have did something like I don't know. They could have like what would have been kind of cool is if they did a callback from like remember when Jack was getting chased and like the tribe was like
Yeah.
chasing him around the thing. They could have done something with her similar to that, or like she became the new queen, or you know what I mean? Like it's always
yeah.
fun, those little tiebacks.
The dog runs by, jumps in the boat with like Jack as he leaves the island, and then they come over and she has to start running. That'd be good.
The dog already got brought back with Captain Teague in the third one.
But nothing else in the movie makes sense. So why do you have to start like?
Sorry, the
He
brother in
could've-
court didn't get enough screen time, so I didn't notice the dog.
Neo
Right.
away and is all of a
Sea
sudden
turtles,
under
mate.
court. More screen time.
There will be no
Are we
Pirates
talking
3
about screen
slander here
time?
anymore.
Listen, if you just say screen time, a
Neo
certain fan is
appears.
going to hear it and start commenting.
If you say screen time 3 times, Neo Ryan Wayne appears 100%.
Screen time, screen time.
Don't
Don't do it.
don't. If I have to hear Riz today, I will be so fucking mad.
Liz.
Stop it. God damn it, Jake.
What am I not rizzing you up right now?
Just cannot.
Florida
Ultimate
man.
Daddy Jake over there. It just irritates me.
All right, so let's get to our rankings now, I think. All right. Our villain rankings as they stand right now, it is Davy Jones at number 1. We have Barbosa number 2, Beckett at 3, Norrington at 4, and Southang at 5. Let's add Blackbeard. I mean,
To the bottom of the list? Yeah, let's put him right at the
Can
bottom.
I
Just
add the
I would
script
put
writers?
Blackbeard. I would put him above Southang only because we didn't get to see a lot of Southang. I do like again. I think I said last week, like he's a powerful character. I did like him. Wish we got to see more. There were a lot of deleted scenes that I feel like gave us a little more. I encourage you guys to go watch those. Like after you watch the movie, go watch all the deleted scenes and stuff. I would do it. But I do think Blackbeard, like, I might just be my actual, like, pirate bias, but, like, I do like Blackbeard. I think they, like Kevin said, the writing was a little shit for him, but as a character himself, looking at him and that energy he exuded, those, just his eyes, his hollow fucking eyes, like, he was a good character. He was a good energy for that role. I just think he got fucked in the writing a little bit, but I do think he was a good bad man.
Barbosa's skeleton crew looked cooler, honestly.
Still, Barbosa would be up higher.
Well, Barbosa, but I'm talking about his just like underlings. Like what we got from Blackbeard. Like
True.
I bet the deleted scenes make Blackbeard a more convincing villain. But from the product that we saw,
yeah.
they did not give Blackbeard the necessary due. Like he could have been really good, but instead he kind of fell flat just like his daughter did. But like, how do you mess up Blackbeard played by Ian McShane is crazy to me.
Yeah,
and
right.
I hate that I was more intimidated by Southang, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, I
feel like
do
there was more intrigue by Southang for me than there was for Blackbeard in this movie, and that sucks to say that, but it's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know, man. I just think they just look good. I don't know. I think it is just like the pirate lore. Like I do just like the idea of Blackbeard.
If Blackbeard is your Survivor 43, I'll put it higher than Southang.
So listen, so like here's the thing is that like one of the things that like bothered me, but I still think is true, is that like Calypso, they didn't actually talk, like you just had to like recognize Calypso as an important name, and so like this must be an important character, but not actually know anything about Calypso, right? So but like they actually did something with that character Not a lot and not well, but they did something. Like, same thing here. Like, you don't know anything about Blackbeard. Like, you don't come in knowing anything about Blackbeard. Just know that that's the name of a pirate, and that's an important name you should know. And then they did nothing with that character. So, like, that's why I would put him low.
I can agree with that because I do agree with the whole Calypso thing. And I'm just one where, like, I want to know the history of things, how all this shit started. Like, again, with the mermaids, they're just like, hey, there's mermaids. You know, like, I feel like I would have loved to hear, like, the first account of one, like the first pirate saw one 100 years ago or something. And, like, you know what I mean? That's the last time the fountain had been visited, or, you know, I'm just all for lore.
Right.
I love a good backstory. So,
or like if they think there's only supposed to be 3 and they show up to planning for 3 mermaids and it ends up that there's 30. Like something, right? And then that's why things go wrong. Like, that would have been great, but instead we just get whatever mess we got.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah. I'm gonna have to put Blackbeard at number so.
Okay.
I put Blackbeard at number 1, though. It balances out somewhere in the middle, right?
I mean, if he
43 is number 1.
I don't listen. I mean, for Sarah's sake, I would say I would not argue Sao Fang or Norrington. I wouldn't be like, no, he's like, those 2 are definitely better. Like, listen, if somebody wanted to put him up there, sure. Beckett, better villain.
I think Norrington at least had a better arc for me that was a little more tangible across.
Such a useless dad.
Yeah.
Oh.
And coming up from, like, what Cameron said, like, it's all in what we get to see in the final product. Because, like we said, Sao Fang could have been amazing. We felt him be amazing, but we didn't get to see it. Like, but with Norrington, we got to see him be a dick, and then we got to see him be heartbroken, and then we got to see him have kind of like that redemption thing. And then the useless killing was just dumb for so much work they put into this guy.
They just dropped Norrington and
Sarah,
mess it up.
Preach.
But, like, yeah, so listen, I would put him at the bottom of the list, but, like, if there was any sort of argument about, like, any sort of disagreement, I'd be like, yeah, fine, whatever, put him above Norrington. You can put him that high. And
like, if we had to debate, like, Norrington or Beckett for villains, Beckett was obviously way more, like, maniacal, crazy, all man for himself kind of thing. So he'd obviously win. But, like, we just got to see so much of Norrington. So, like, you just feel kind of, like, attached to his character, which is why, like, I think that might be why we feel it's such a useless death, because we did start to like him. And then they did kill him for nothing. Yeah. And that hurts us. You know what I mean? Like, so it kind of does its point, too, you know, even if we hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
So is Blackbeard going at the bottom, or what?
Well, apparently my vote doesn't fucking count except for the ones for Cameron. So you guys do whatever you want.
Oh, Sarah, you can put it. We'll balance out.
Where do you want to put it, Sarah?
No, I'm fucking kidding, you guys. God damn, you all have your periods or something.
I was just being like,
no,
not
you're good.
Awful to you for a minute, but, like, fuck you then.
You know what?
No, I fucking hate
I'm starting to understand why Sarah voted me out in Vanquish, because all the tribal councils were late at night. They were all late at night.
I told you I get irritated after like 9 o'clock. Yep.
It's like, fine, we can get rid of camera. I don't give a shit. I want to go to bed.
Okay, yeah, let's fucking I've had this plan for 12 hours. Let's go.
No, I'm saying bottom of the list because I don't like the character, but, like, if someone feels passionately that he should be higher, go for it. Cameron?
Yeah, I'm just would be stuck between those two.
This isn't
spots.
my goblet of fire. I'm not going to die on this hill. Also, I wasn't there for that podcast, so I never got to die on that hill. My biggest regret is not making the goblet of fire one.
It's not a good.
That's my boy.
All right, we're gonna on. All right, so Blackbeard's gonna be at number 6. Then I think it balances out to.
He's about to hit several.
Oh yeah. All right, so here we go. Our movie rankings: Dead Man's Chest at number 1, Curse of the Black Pearl at number 2, and at World's End, The Disaster at 3. Although Stranger Tides is gonna usurp that title of being a disaster because I think we know where it's gonna go.
I did not realize how good I would think Pirates 3 was until I watched Pirates 4.
Right?
We tried to
Right?
tell you before you watched it, though. Like we did tell
we
you
did. We
it's
said,
gonna make the
wait,
third one seem like the end game compared to like this. This was terrible. This was Ant-Man and Quantumania.
this is like after you've already eaten 4 bowls of spaghetti and you're like, I'm gonna have one more, and it makes you sick. That's what this movie is. That extra bowl of spaghetti.
So do I even?
No, it's not even the same pot of spaghetti. Like this was like they brought out Chef Boyardee after giving you Nona's pasta for the first 3. You got Chef Boyardee 1 here, and then they strip
And we're
it
gonna
even
put
more
mustard.
in next week.
Your grandma
Oh.
made Sunday dinner. She made a big pasta dinner, and it was delicious. And then fucking Chef Boyardee rolls up with his can of SpaghettiOs and like tips your head back and is just pouring it in cold.
Waterboarding you with Chef Boyardee.
You're like enjoying you're enjoying this delicious pasta, and looming behind you is just that Chef Boyardee can rolling behind you, like in the commercial. Just following you around, just on Stranger Tides.
I didn't know if you were old enough to know the commercial.
No, we all were around for the Chef Boyardee
Come on.
rolling can.
Love
Okay.
it.
I'm not 88 like Kevin, but
Hey,
I'm close. I'm like,
hey.
if Kevin's 88,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
like at least 75. Because like
we just have.
I feel
I feel like
old
we've
compared
slowed
to you
down on
guys.
the Kevin's old joke because he's just such a young buck that we gotta keep.
You guys can call me old anytime you want. I think it's funny. You can't hurt my feelings because I don't have them.
You think I'm too young to know the Chef Boyardee commercial?
Yeah, Cam.
Thank you. I hope you still card me.
Yeah, I hope we can just stick to being carded. All right. So on Stranger Tides, I'm pretty sure we're all putting it in dead last right now.
Apparently,
100%.
the next one gets even worse. My God.
I think there's
Okay.
at least humor to 5, but I'm not gonna like fight for it if it.
Kevin, you're gonna watch 5 and then think fondly of 4.
True. Facts.
You're gonna be like, I remember when I was watching on Stranger Tides and I didn't think it could get worse. And then it did.
You guys are supposed to be my friends. Why are you making me watch these terrible movies?
Because Jake doesn't want to watch Twilight.
Well, I feel like I'm not gonna like that.
Twilight.
Listen, if you do Twilight, I'm out because I'll come back for the next series after that. If you do Twilight, I watched part of the first movie and they got to the baseball scene and I walked away.
Okay, but I did recently watch it and I'm a fan. I'm all of a sudden
as bad as this movie was, I did not like angrily get up and walk away at how ridiculous it was. So it's not as bad as Twilight. I do like to make fun of Twilight though, because I call the last movie the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2, the final chapter, Bella's Revenge, because that title just kept going. And like as time goes on, I add more things to it.
I love that so fucking much. Bella's Revenge.
Yeah.
Jake's like, this is a podcast about pirates. We got to get back on track.
Oh yeah, I'm
Listen,
sorry.
we gotta talk about other things. This is not a good movie.
Well, I mean, I think we got it. It's at number 4, and we'll see where 5 lands. Dead Men Tell No Tales or Salazar's Revenge. In some countries, I guess it's Dead Man Tell No Tales here, but all right.
Is it really? I've only ever seen it as Salazar's Revenge.
I've only ever seen it as Dead Men Tell No Tales. And then when I looked up the 5 movies, it said Salazar's Revenge. I was like, am I crazy?
Yeah,
Disney Plus is Dead Men Tell No Tales, and that's the line from the ride.
yeah.
What's the second one called then?
Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest.
Okay, I thought that's what that one was called, man.
No, so I think it's the end of the second movie. Like they say the line "Dead Men Tell No Tales," and that's from the ride. That's like
why.
I'm pretty sure it's actually the recording that plays during the ride. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not from Florida. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
It's
You don't
okay.
wanna
He's
be, it
not
sucks
really
here.
from there either. His mom made him move away.
All right. Well,
God
anyway,
damn it.
I think that's it for this podcast. We'll be back for Pirates 5 next week, and then we will crap all over Survivor 46 after that. and we will do our Survivor winner rankings this summer as well.
I would just like to say the cornerstone of strong friendships is hating on the same things together. So I'm glad that we all hate the same things together.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at least on Stranger Tides, and probably Pirates 5 can go in the category of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker and Morbius as like the worst movies ever made. So
I wanted to just come in and be the positive force for this movie, but like there was
The
just
Hufflepuff that you
no
are.
hope. There was no hope, you know?
He does. You come into all these like so open-minded and like I'm gonna find the good in it, but every time you're like, and we explain stuff, you're just like, well, fuck. You know what? That doesn't make sense. That was stupid.
yeah,
There are some stupid things, but like I still will die on the hill for certain things, you know? Survivor 46 will not get that treatment. We're gonna hate it.
yeah, and I'm wondering how the winner rankings are gonna go once we get to those.
There's a
There's-
chance
there's a-
it's gonna be okay, and then there's a really good chance it's gonna be at the bottom.
Bob from Gabon for number 1.
Listen,
All right.
it's I just have high hopes.
Alligator.
Do not call me Panic at the Disco because I do not have high hopes.
All right. Well, we'll figure out how the winter rankings are going to work, but just wanted to give a tease there. But we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.
Fuck you, Kevin.